What is going on, friends? I'm gonna make sure everybody is muted. A few people are still trying to get in. What's happening? What's happening? Everybody can hear me? Everybody can see me? Thumbs up. Sweet. Sweet. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So first and foremost, I gotta say welcome to the first ever TrainRUF Tuesday. You guys, it's always been our mission here at RUF to help people build their happiest, healthiest life. And everything we do here is figuring out what you need for that to happen. And that's kind of where I came up with the idea for TrainRUF Tuesday, is that it's just another stepping stone of what I feel like you might need or that could help you, whether you're part of RUF or you're not a part of RUF. Like, this is going to be a free resource that anybody can use. It's going to be something that we do every Tuesday. And to give you some backstory on how RUF even started and how we got to this point. I actually started RUF when I was 19 years old as a little boot camp. I went to LSU. If you guys can keep yourself muted, that'd be great. But I started a little boot camp out. Sweet. If you could keep yourself muted, that'd be great. So I started a little boot camp out at LSU, is where I went to college when I was 19 years old. And if I were to have it my way, I would have just opened up a gym and helped people work out, and that would have been the end of it. But at the end of the day, you have goals. There's a reason why you're working out. There's a reason why you chose to start working out or to come to RUF or to ask for help, is because you got dreams. You got goals. You want to be more confident. You want to lose weight. You want to be around and be able to move for your kids and your grandkids or whatever that is, or fit into that dress or have that confidence or go on that vacation. And what I realized is that people weren't quite seeing the results that they wanted. So as you've heard it before, it's 70% nutrition, 30% workout. You can't outwork a bad diet. We've all heard that before. Yes. And so I decided, I was like, okay, as much as this wasn't what I intended, this is what you guys need. So I took a couple of nutrition classes. I took some certifications. I learned everything I could about nutrition. And we started doing nutrition for people, and people started to get more results because they were taking care of themselves the right way. They were building that happiest, healthiest life, but there was still something missing. I would give people these amazing workout programs. I would give these people these amazing nutrition plans, and then people would still come back and they weren't seeing the results they wanted. And I realized something. I don't know if you guys have ever fallen into this trap, but how many of you guys have said you're going to work out or said you're going to eat right, and you know what to do, but you just don't do it? Like, you know you shouldn't snooze and you should wake up and go do the workout, but you don't do it, right? Or you built this amazing home gym and it's collecting dust, or worse, it's a coat rack right now, right? Or you say that you're not going to eat the cookies, but then your kids want cookies and your kids take out the cookies, so then you eat the cookies. And what I realized is that it wasn't just a matter of having the plan for you guys, but it was the accountability of it too, right? Sometimes you just need somebody to say, hey, look, do this thing. And you're not going to sit here and just say, oh, I'm doing this by myself, but you have somebody else watching what you're doing to hold you accountable. One of the biggest things that people struggle with is things like the weekends, right? It's all great Monday through Thursday, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's hard to stay on track. And to have a coach and to have a person watching what you're doing and helping you and getting through those things and making a game plan makes a huge difference. And finally, there was the educational piece. I'm sure that we've all fallen into the trap of working with a coach and they said, oh, hey, just eat chicken, 6 ounces of chicken and some broccoli, right? Or eat this steak and the potatoes, right? And you didn't understand why you were doing it. You just did it because your coach told you to do it and you trusted your coach, right? And then you did that for a certain amount of time. And then when you felt like you lost the weight or you hit your goal, then you went right back to doing what you used to do. And you didn't learn anything. And then you gained the weight back. Or you've joined one of these companies and you're like, oh, just take, my shakes for every single meal, or just take these prepackaged stuff every single meal. And it's great. And it doesn't, not that it doesn't work, but you don't learn anything, right? And so you do this thing for temporary, whether it's 30 days, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, a year, doesn't matter. But at some point you're tired of just eating just shakes or eating just chicken and rice or just following what this coach is saying is very strict thing. You're like, I want to be able to enjoy my kid's birthday. I want to be able to have wine on Wednesdays with the ladies or have a drink with the guys, right? And you decide like you want this lifestyle things. And at some point you hit your goal and you go back to what you used to do. And some of you guys have been struggling to lose the same 15 pounds for the last year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. right? And some of you guys, it's the education that we overcomplicate this process, or we're not learning and educating yourselves. And we've always built everything at RUF with those four things: workouts, nutrition, accountability, and education. And we have helped thousands of people reach their goals. We have hundreds of people part of our program. And whenever somebody joins our program, I know about it, being the CEO. And whenever somebody wants to cancel or not be a part of our program, they have to email, and I always ask them why. And it's the craziest thing that when somebody wants to cancel and they give me their reason, whatever it is, I always think about it. I'm like, if you would have just told us about the fact that you don't understand the nutrition plan, or that you got hurt, or that your kids are sick, or that you're stressed right now because of work, or your lack of a job, or this is happening or that's happening with your family. Like, if you would have just sat down and said that this is the problem that you're having and asked for help, we could have made a game plan for you. We could have sat down and talked and said, hey, this is how we're going to get you from where you're at through this situation and move you forward again. But I realize, and it's really funny, and you guys can tell me if I'm right or wrong here, but it just has been weighing on my heart so much lately when somebody gets to that point where they rather just email and quit versus ask for help. But it just seems like it doesn't matter what I do, that once somebody joins, if they don't feel like they get everything they need right off the bat, then they want to quit. And I think that we've done an amazing job here at RUF of streamlining what we've learned, of making this extremely convenient. Literally for less than $1 a day, $29 a month. Like, you are not going to find a program that gives you what we give you. We're talking about custom workout programs, different workout programs for you to choose from, video examples showing you exactly what to do. You can do different styles of training, modifications, everything you can need, support to message if you don't understand something, written instructions, and then nutrition. The baseline of everything, whether you're doing one-on-one coaching or you're just on the app, we give every single person a custom nutrition plan built for you, period, right? It can't not work, right? It's custom for you, and we're willing to change it based on your lifestyle and where you're at and when we hit plateaus. Accountability, we check in with you every week. We run these 8-week challenges. We have a chance to win $1,000 if you make the best transformations and you upload your photos, right? Like, we have all these things for, again, $29 a month. You're not going to beat it anywhere else. And so I keep wrapping my head around, I'm like, well, what else could people need? Like, I don't want you to get to a point where you join this for $29. We have all these tools, but I think sometimes people misconstrued convenient and the streamlined in that, hey, we have this plan. You do these workouts, these nutrition, here's your accountability. Ask us, let us know if you have questions. All you have to do is show up. How simple is that? Here's the plan. Just do this thing and you'll see results. How easy is that? Right? But I think people misconstrue this convenience, right? And how simple we make it, and they try to make it complex, and they think that it's going to be easy, right? Showing up isn't easy. Still having to do the workouts, right? Still having to make the sacrifice, maybe not having as much cookies as you did before, trying to hit your protein goals. Like, those things aren't necessarily easy. And I think what happens is that, and as much as I don't like this, the more convenient we've made it for people to lose the weight, to build the muscle, to regain the confidence, to lower their blood pressure, to lower their cholesterol, to get all these things in check, the more convenient we make it for them, because RUF has come a long way, the more I find people give up because it starts to get difficult, right? They still have to make sacrifices, right? And so that's why I came up with this TrainRUF Tuesdays, is because more than anything, I wanted to make sure that everybody's on the same page. We're coming up to the end of our 8-week challenge right now. And some of you guys might be thinking, oh, these 8-week challenges sound great. We're on week 8. I'm going to wait for the next one. I don't want you to think that way, right? It shouldn't be the way you think. And some of you guys started this last 8-week challenge with us, but it wasn't your best challenge. And you're like, okay, the next one, I'm going to get it. I don't want you to think that way, right? This is a lifestyle. I'm tired, again, with RUF, like, we were doing these 6 weeks and 8-week challenges and people were getting amazing results. They were losing 20, 30 pounds and it was awesome. And then they would go back to their old lifestyle and gain the weight back. I'm like, that's not what I want RUF to be. And some of you guys are in the right mindset. You did this challenge and you're like, I'm not going to wait for the next challenge. I'm not even going to wait for next Monday. I'm starting today. And I love that. But I also know from experience that sometimes when a challenge ends, sometimes your motivation kind of goes with that. And my goal with this TrainRUF Tuesdays was to keep us all on the same page, understanding the nutrition, understanding the macros, how to track your food, understanding the workouts, what kind of workouts are best for you, keeping you accountable, lighting that fire under your butt, doing whatever it needs to make sure that you stay on track. And more than anything, at the end of these calls, I'm going to ask like, hey, do you have questions? It could be about you personally. It could be on the topic that we're talking about today. It could be about something else, to give you the opportunity to talk to the CEO of RUF, to say, hey, I have a question about this when it comes to my workouts. I have a question about this. I have 3 kids and I'm working 2 jobs. And how am I supposed to track my food? How am I supposed to manage all that, right? Like, we could talk about those things. This is an opportunity to avoid getting to the point where you're like, oh, this is too hard, I want to quit. Because again, sometimes we overcomplicate things. And if we truly understand how all of this nutrition and workout works, it's really not that hard, right? But just like anything, it's learning a new skill. And so I've kind of thought of this analogy, you guys, and how I wanted you guys to see how RUF could help you. And I heard this analogy the other day. I thought it was great. But anytime you learn a new skill, you're bound to mess up. You're bound to fall. Like, failure is a part of growth. I think we can all agree with that, right? And so the analogy I'm giving is when you first learn to ride a bike. I hope everybody here knows how to ride a bike, or maybe this won't make sense. You can relate it to something else. But I remember when I first got my bike, right? You have these training wheels on here. I was actually here in Colorado. They have something called Striders. Do you guys know what that is? I had never even heard of that. And like, they don't even have training wheels. They just run with their feet. I thought it was the most amazing thing ever. I never even seen that before. But when I first learned how to ride a bike, I had training wheels, right? They didn't just get me a bike and just put pedals on there and throw me in the mountains and say good luck. It wouldn't work very well. You had to go through these stages, right? So I had training wheels first. And at some point, I got old enough, I grew up enough, I had enough practice to where they said, okay, it's time to ride a bike, no more training wheels. So they took the training wheels off. And I remember, right? You're on your bike, you're pedaling, and my dad or your parents are holding you and they're walking you through, and you're pedaling and you're like, Dad, I'm doing it, right? And it's like, yeah, you're doing so great. And you're like, don't let go. And he's like, I won't. And he's lying to you, right? Because he knows he's about to send you on your way. And so sure enough, he sends you on your way. You're riding your bike and you're doing great, right? You're riding your bike, you're doing it. And you look back and you realize your parents aren't there. And what do? You freak out and you run into a bush, you fall over, you crash. And so your parents or whoever's helping you runs up to you. And I can promise you this, because I would assume all of you guys know how to ride a bike, is that they didn't pick you up and say, oh my God, you fell, you're never going to ride this bike again. Or you didn't just give up and throw away your bike. I assume at some point you got back up and got back on the bike and redid that. And you did it again and again and again until eventually you are riding your bike. And we know how to do that, right? And that's what we want RUF to be, right? We want to be the person who helps you and gets you on your way. I think that so often coaches want to trap people. They don't want to teach you. They don't want to educate you. They don't want to show you what they know. They just want to say, hey, take my shakes, take my products. And you're stuck doing that for forever. Hey, just follow this meal plan and eat these exact things and never change it, because now you're stuck. You can't succeed without the coaching. That's not what RUF stands for. I want to be able to take you through these 8-week challenges. I want you to be able to get on TrainRUF Tuesday. I want you to be able to do these things so eventually we can help you through all the ups and downs. We can help you for when you fall off the bike. We can pick you back up. We can send you on your way again, and eventually you can do it yourself. But even once you start doing it by yourself and you get good at riding your bike, there's always another level of things, right? You probably want to start doing some tricks. You start riding with your friends. And I assume it wasn't the last time you fell. I know for me personally, with all my friends, I want to show off because, I'm riding with these girls, I'm like, I don't know, 9 years old. I don't know how old I was, but there's of course a girl there, right? And I'm going to ride with no hands, and it's all fine and dandy until I run into the mailbox, right? And then I'm not Cool Roy anymore. But the point is, you guys, is that none of those things ever stopped you from riding a bike. And that's what we want RUF to be, right? Some of you guys have been a part of RUF before, and you've been with us for a challenge or 2 or 3 months or 6 months, and you've said, Roy, look, I'm going to go do this on my own. And that's what we want. We're like, great, go do it. And then you went out there and you fell some more. You realize like, oh my God, like I know what to do, but knowing what to do is different than doing it. Am I right? How many of you guys know you need to work out, but sometimes it just doesn't happen? How many of you guys know that you shouldn't eat cookies or you shouldn't have the soda or you're drinking too much alcohol, but there's just no accountability there to keep you going? And let me ask you this. This is another example that for those of you guys who have kids, if little Susie says, hey, I want to do gymnastics, and you've never done gymnastics in your life, I highly doubt you're going to go buy a balance beam and you're going to go buy a bar, install it in your house, and you're going to teach them yourself how to do gymnastics, right? What you're probably going to go do is find a gymnastics studio, find a coach for them and a team, and let them do that and help them along the way and guide them. You guys have all done this. Your kid loves soccer, your kid loves volleyball, your kid loves these sports, and you see this and you go put them on a team. You might help them along the way, but you go find them a coach, a professional. And this is the fun part. How many times has your kid said, oh, I want to do gymnastics, I want to do this sport, I want to do this, and 2 weeks into it, it's time to go to practice and they say, I don't want to go today. How many times do you say, oh, it's fine, we'll just quit? You say, hell no, we invested this money into this. You made this commitment. This is a good teaching moment. And I don't care if I got to drag you by your feet. We're going to volleyball practice. Your parents probably did that for you, and you probably do it for your kids. And so just like your kids is no different than you, you're going to have days where you don't want to go to the gym. You're going to have days you don't want to be on your diet, right? But when your kids fall into the trap of, I want to give up, there's somebody there to keep them moving forward and keep them going back to practice. When they want to get better at a certain skill like gymnastics, volleyball, whatever, they have a team that's holding them accountable, that expects them to show up and be there for them. They have a coach there to say, this is what you need to do. This is how you do it. Regardless of how you feel, this is what we need to do. And so it's so funny to me that you want what's best for your kids, and you'll always do this for your kids. But when it comes to bettering yourself and bettering your health and bettering your wellness, going to the gym and doing the things you need to do, you keep saying, I'm going to do it on my own because I already know what I need to do. But then how many of you guys have a Peloton that's collecting dust, or have the home gym that you built because of COVID and said, I'm going to work out, and you did it for all of a week and now it's a coat rack? Or you have the gym membership that you got because it was cheap for 15 bucks a month at Planet Fitness, and you realize that you've been paying the last 3 months for Planet Fitness and you haven't been going. So again, the point to all of this is that we want to be the person, because some of you guys just need that. That's what this TrainRUF Tuesday is. That's what RUF stands for. That's what we do. Some of you guys just need the person to say, hey, I know you said you need to work out, but now go do it. To have that check-in, right? Some of you guys know you need to eat, right? But tracking your food, you guys, we always get you to track your food. It's the only way we can know that you're on track. But I can't tell you how many people say it's too complicated. And if I were to ask any single person who's been with us for 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, I see some people on here, if I were to ask Gentry, Natalie, Adrian, Erica, if I said, hey, is tracking hard? They'd be like, no, not really. Like, we look at people who say it's difficult, and like, you just don't get it. But it's because they've been doing it. They learned the new skill. When they started, it was difficult. I remember when I was in college, I used to think macros were dumb. I used to say, this doesn't work for me, but it was just because I didn't want to take the time to actually learn how to do this. You can't avoid it. Every single kind of diet we do is macros because it's the food we eat. You just have to learn the skill of how to track it. But I can promise you, because I just had this call this morning, somebody just started our program. And they said, oh my God, Roy, I'm tracking, I'm doing as best as I can, but I had a Twix this morning and I just need to let you know. And I said, and I had a donut, high five. Like you guys, like sometimes you have to understand, like, you're going to have the Twix, you're going to have the donut. Sometimes you're going to fall off on weekends. But again, the difference is that she was able to get on this call with me. She was able to talk through it. I was able to encourage her and tell her, okay, and she had one of the small ones like this, like the little Twix. It wasn't even like the big ones or the king size that you get at Walmart. Like, it was a little one. She was so upset. I said, listen, like, this is going to happen. I can't tell you how many times I've had people fall off and not track on the weekends. Like, it happens. It's life. But the thing is that those things happen and they derail you. Those things happen, you think you've ruined it. The progress is done. You have one bad week, a stressful week, and you don't go to the gym for a week because your kids are sick, which happens. That's life. You have to find balance. I get it, right? And you have one off week and all of a sudden you want to give up, like, oh, all my progress is gone. And it's just not true. And so my goal, more than anything, you guys, is to give you the workouts, nutrition, accountability, the education through these calls, whether you're a part of RUF or not. This is a free resource to just make sure we're all on the same page. That if you're doing our 8-week challenges, we're doing our housekeeping, and you know exactly what you need to do to win the 8-week challenges. You just got to do it. Those of you guys who are having a hard time or have questions, you say, hey, Roy, last week you said this about macros, but this is the situation I ran into. How would you do that? You guys have the opportunity to ask those questions. Does that make sense to everybody? That's what this is. It's just another step, another tool that we wanted to give you guys to help you as much as we possibly can. And the only thing I ask, because this is free, we're going to do this every Tuesday. If you guys are a part of our RUF family Facebook group, if you're not, I would join it. RUFAMILY. We're going to put a schedule in there so you know exactly what we're going to talk about every single Tuesday for the next couple weeks, right? Whether we're going to talk about how to track your food, or how to create recipes in MyFitnessPal, or how to navigate the RUF app and the workouts, or what workouts you should be doing, or a motivational talk, or having a guest speaker. We'll have those things laid out for you. We will always record them and put them on YouTube, so that way you guys can watch the replays or share it if you need it. We want this to be able to be accessed to everybody. The only thing I ask from you guys is that when I post a link on my Facebook to sign up for these calls, is that you share it. Okay, this is a free resource. And at the end of the day, I was actually having this conversation with somebody who wanted to join the gym not too long ago. Is the hardest thing for me is when you're the only person doing it. In all the examples I gave, there's usually a team. And I love our RUF family and I love our team, but we have to be honest that this is online. That you still have your significant other, your kids, your parents, your friends, your coworkers, whatever that looks like. And it is harder when you're trying to do this lifestyle change, but your husband or your wife isn't. Or they, even if they're not going to do it with you, if they don't understand what you're trying to accomplish, or you're going to work and every single one of your work people and your peers are trying to sabotage you because they don't get it, or they don't understand, or they're not doing it with you. Same thing with your friends. Again, this is a free resource that anybody can benefit from. Anybody can learn. Like, again, I'm tired of people doing the same diet again and again and again to lose the same 15 pounds over and over and over again. Like, I want to teach the truth. I want you guys to all be successful. I want you guys to be able to have your questions answered. And this goes for anybody. So that's all I ask, is that you guys share the link. And if people come, great. And if they don't, that's on them. But I think it's a great resource for you guys to learn motivation, workouts, nutrition, accountability, all of those things. So I'm going to open up this real quick before I let you guys go to think, does anybody have any questions for me right off the bat? And you might not have any today. If you do, you can put it in the chat, but speak up. Some of you guys might have it like on the tip of your tongue, like, I want to say it, but maybe it's a dumb question. Like, just ask it. Okay, you can unmute yourself right now. You can put it in the chat, and maybe you don't have any questions right now, but you will. As we go through these calls, as we talk about how to do nutrition, how to do macros, how to do workouts, how to do these things, you will start to have them. And again, I encourage you, whether it's a specific, very specific situation to you, or it's a very general thing, just knowledge in general, don't hesitate to ask. That's what these calls are for, they're for you. Okay, so I want you guys to get the most out of it. Is that fair for everybody? Sweet. This is the last week of our 8-week challenge. Last little bit of motivation I want to give you is to take your photos. For anybody who's thinking about starting their journey, or you're doing this journey already, I had a conversation with somebody today, and it was their 14-day check-in with me. And in 14 days, they lost 5 pounds. And I was like, oh my God. And I looked at her photos inside the app and I was like, this is amazing. She's got like 3 kids, and she just got out of a surgery and wasn't cleared to work out till the 8th. So she hadn't even started working out yet. This is all just from fixing her nutrition. Like, this is amazing. I'm like, have you posted your photos in our RUF family Facebook group? And she said, oh no, I'm just not sure, I'm nervous. I'm like, have you seen the photos that are in there and how many people struggle with their weight and want to lose weight? I'm like, I know that sometimes we have this thing about taking photos that we don't like them, right? But I told her, I was like, the reason why we need to take the photos is because we don't like them. And you already took that step. I was like, but instead of thinking inwards about what other people will think of me, or you're ashamed, or you don't like what you see, I'm like, I don't think you realize that in 14 days, what you were able to accomplish and lose 5 pounds. If you were to share this to our private Facebook group where everybody's trying to lose weight or build muscle and change your life, you would inspire hundreds of people. And she goes, wow, I never even really thought about that. Like, I never thought about the people that I would help that are going through this with me. And I said, listen, I'll never make you take your photos. I'll never make you share your photos, but it's a private Facebook group where everybody will support you. And taking that first photo is hard. I said, but you will never win our 8-week challenge if you're not willing to lift others up and put yourself out there. And for $29 a month, the chance to win $1,000 and getting your skin literally in the game and be able to change other people's lives and having that motivation to have those things out there and affect other people, I think is an amazing thing. And she goes, you know what, Roy, I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm gonna post my photos next week. So we'll see if she does it. I'm not gonna name drop anybody, but just something I encourage you guys to do. right? The more all in you are, being on the TrainRUF Tuesday calls or checking in on the app, or even if you're just doing the free stuff, you do the TrainRUF Tuesday and you just take your photos and update the group on our Thursday post inside of our group, right? Like, it would do wonders for you. Okay. So I appreciate you guys. It doesn't look like we have any questions. I will see all of you guys next Tuesday. Just remember, we don't pray for an easy life. We earn a rough one. Take your photos, whether today's your day 1 or your day 100, it doesn't matter. Just take them. You'll thank me later. All right. Later, friends.